not quite as
senior
tall as the rest of them.
You know it takes.
My name is Diana Greenwood, and I head up American Patriots, which is the Ashland, Ohio Tea Party 912 group. And I too have a quote from our founding fathers. President George Washington: "If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter." Now, that quote may sound a little extreme, but I feel like that's what we're facing right now with Matt Patrick going off the air. The Tea Party movement is losing one of its strongest promoters in the local area. And that really is going to make it hard on the rest of us in a way to get our message out. No longer will those in Columbus, as Dave mentioned, be able to hear our voices. Not just Mr. Patrick's voice, but our voices. And that's a form of us being silenced. Excuse me, I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit emotional, because our Tea Party owes such a huge debt of gratitude to you. Ashland is just a little town. We only have about 28,000 people, I think, in the entire county. It's so hard we were having such a hard time getting the word out, and we called you up, and you put me on the air, you put Stephanie on the air for all the events that we've held, and we ended up getting 600 people at our first rally on April 15th. I think in big part because we were able to get on the air with you. And I fear that without a local person like that, and we just have the national people, that we're not going to be able to get the word out as much. And I really wish that the radio station would reconsider the decision.
Amen.
Not only do you enable us to promote our events, but you enable the representatives in Columbus and in DC to hear us. And sometimes that's the only way that they can hear us, because not everybody writes an email, not everybody calls, but some people just don't have a problem getting on the radio and talking to you. In closing, you are going to be incredibly missed, not only by the New American Patriots in Ashland, but every Tea Party that's standing up here, and even those who are not able to make it. Thank you so much for giving us a platform. I appreciate it, and so does everybody else.
My name is Tom Zawistowski. I'm the president of the Portage County Tea Party. And as someone like all the rest of my friends here who I've met over the last few months, who've reluctantly been brought into the role of community organizer, I first want to say to Amy and to Brian and to the Summit 912 people, thanks for organizing this event. It's a tribute to you. You did all the work. You did all the work. Great job. When Brian asked me to come and say a few words about Matt, I happen to be reading a new Gingrich book that just came out about times that try men's souls. Anybody out here have you read that book yet? I recommend it to you. And Matt, I know you're doing a lot of reading. 5,000 Year Leap and Liberty and Tyranny. We're all doing a lot of reading lately, and we all need new glasses. But it was interesting. Sometimes things happen in your life and you don't know the reason why. And this event is just happened to be one of those type of things, Matt. Because the book is about the first year of the Revolutionary War. After Declaration of Independence had been declared, and it's about Washington's army fighting the British on the way to the Battle of Trenton. And one of the key people in this book is Thomas Paine, who wrote Common Sense. And Thomas Paine, back then, they didn't have talk radio, but they had people who wrote pamphlets, and people read those pamphlets, and it encouraged them to do things. And quite frankly, the Revolutionary War probably wouldn't have happened if Thomas Paine hadn't written Common Sense. It wouldn't have happened. It inspired people who lived on farms and didn't live in cities, who read this and believed in freedom and took up arms and left their farms and went to fight. And I'm reading this book, and it's talking about how everybody was so enthused, like all of our members were enthused on tax day, when we all went to the Tea Party rallies to fight against the taxes, and we saw about cap and trade, and we were all excited, and it was spring, and sunny, and warm, and everybody was enthusiastic, and there were big crowds. And then it talks about that year, and it talks about the British just kicking our butts. It talks about the Battle of New York, where we almost lost our entire army, and where these people who left the farms to come and fight found out what it was like to fight against the British, and found out how difficult this task was going to be. And throughout the book, they get defeated in New York, and they're retreating through New Jersey. And it's brutal. I mean, the book is hard to read. You will cry. You will just, the pain that these people suffered, that our fellow patriots, our founders suffered, is unbelievable. Because they're going through New Jersey, and it's weather like we had a couple nights ago, with the winds and the cold, and they don't have supplies, and they don't have clothes. They're marching without shoes in the snow. And Thomas Paine is with them, which I never knew this. He was with them, and he's fighting alongside. He's kind of watching what's going on. And everywhere the fight's going on, just like during the summer when the House is going to pass the cap and trade, Thomas Paine is being asked, well, say something. Rally the troops. It sounds like Matt Patrick when we're calling into a show and saying, Matt, they're going to pass this, what do we do? And Matt would be that person who put people on, who gave us hope, gave us something to hold on to, while we went out and fought, while we stayed. And throughout the march, across the Delaware River into Pennsylvania, they had to get across the river to protect themselves from the British. They would be walking down the roads, and they talk about how Washington would ride his horse and he could see the tracks leading off into the snow. If in the snow going to the woods, and the men were deserted. People were deserting. People were not coming to the rallies. People were not showing up to fight. They were going back home because it was getting tough. And during the retreats through Trenton, Thomas Paine was talking to some of the young people who were staying and fighting, some of the patriots. And that's where the words came, these are times to try men's souls. And he went back to Philadelphia. Thomas Paine left the army. Washington kicked him out. And he said, go back to Philadelphia. We need you to write something that will rally people. We need you to write something that will rally people. And when he got back to Philadelphia, no one would print it. He was losing his voice. They were going to take it away from him. Just like WHLO was trying to take you away from us. Our voice, that person that rallied us. But Thomas Paine would not be denied. And he found people who found printers who would fight, who would print the next piece that he wrote. And in that piece, he talked about sunshine patriots. He talked about the people who will come and fight, who will come to the tea parties when the sun's out, and when it's a lot of fun, and when this is new. But he talked about the true patriots who stayed in the dead of winter, in the cold, when everyone says they're going to pass this health care bill, and we say, no way. He talks about the people who believe in freedom, and how they won't give up their quest if you really believe in it. And so I'm here to say to you, Matt, that you're our Thomas Paine, and you're no sunshine patriot. And you're going to survive this, and you're going to keep being our voice, and you're going to speak to us and pull us together, and we're going to win this fight. Thank you.